Welcome students to level 3. We're gonna make a birdhouse. Today you're gonna learn how to use measurements by making this beautiful birdhouse. You can see that every little plank of wood here has a specific length, and we're gonna try to find out how to do this by using rectangles and pretty much circles. So first let's decide of the orientation. I want everybody to have exactly the same effect by the end, so I love having my red axis completely horizontal in front of me. Slightly zoom out. We're going to make a very big birdhouse, bigger than this one. Like this, visually it's going to be easier for you. And we're going to use meters because we've been using the template of meters from the beginning. So how are we going to do this? Remember that whatever you do, start with the bottom. So we're going to start with the bottom plank. So R. Now keep in mind that when you use the rectangle tool, and if you press on Control, the little blue rectangle around your tool changes. Do you want to draw a rectangle from its center, or if you press on Control, do you want to draw it from its corner? That will all depend. I prefer drawing my rectangle not from the center, but from the corner. That's my favorite way. Okay, so feel free to find out what you prefer, but remember it's the control, or option on Mac. So make sure that your little pencil is on the corner of that little blue rectangle that is following you. And now we're gonna need to decide of how big do we want that bottom to be. We're gonna use very simple numbers. We're gonna use 1 and 2 meter. So how do we do it? You can see here there's a box at the bottom right, okay, showing you the length that you have. But imagine you don't want that, you want your specific numbers. So how do we do it? So I use my rectangle. I'm being very careful if it's the correct position, and then I draw a rectangle, and then when I release my finger from my keyboard, I need to decide of the length. I'll do a 2, 1, enter. So how did I do that? It's very simple. It's the first number, a little comma, the second number, and enter. And after that, I'll just need to push it with a specific measurement, and here I'm going to use 0,10, so pretty much 10 centimeter thick. So how do we do it? Imagine that it's difficult to reach 0,10. No worries. Now we know how to use measurements. I press on 0. In this case we need a dot. It's American. 10. Enter. And it locks at 10 little centimeter or 0,10 meter. Be careful with the units. Now, because this is a different plank than all the others, I could make that a group. Because if I want to suddenly change this or paint this in one color or another, I won't stress out because it's going to be separated from all the others. So how do we make groups? Remember, triple click on the solid, right click, and then make group. When you do that, now this is one group, so I can just move the whole shape and not just one segment or one face. Okay, that was how to make a group. Now on top of this group I can build whatever I want. So let's build this pentagon here, this irregular pentagon, the back part of my beautiful little birdhouse. So I'm going to zoom in, and now I'm going to decide of how thick. But because this bottom part is 0.10 meter thick, I'm going to use exactly the same for all the other planks. So I'm going to use my rectangle. I'm going to go from this corner. I'm going to reach the other. And now it's going to be 0.10, 2, enter. And now you can see that I've built a rectangle that is the same thickness. Let me just push this up for you to understand. It has exactly the same thickness, the same length, okay, and it will fit perfectly. So I'm going to push this at the height you want. Let's move a little bit around to find out the shape that I like. That's not bad. Okay, maybe a little bit taller even. Let's make it taller. So, you know what? Let's use the measurements that we all agree on. So I'm going to go back to my beginning here, and I'm going to decide of how tall do I want that to be. So I use my push tool, and I'm going to push this 3 meters. 3, enter. You can see that it's got a triangular shape. So how are we going to transform that rectangle into a triangular shape? We're going to use the effect of Google SketchUp, which is destroying and not just building. So let's add a line tool. Using the line tool, L, we're going to use from midpoint, slightly down. You decide of the tilt, or you could use what Google is showing you here, Google SketchUp, which is an angle of 45 degrees. Okay. Let's use exactly the same idea on the left, and escape if I don't want to use my line tool anymore. Push tool, let's change the view, it's going to be easier for the computer. Push tool, and let's destroy this. And now we get the shape we want. What do we need to do with that shape? If you follow me, you know that we need to transform that into a group. So triple click, right click, make group. Now we get a beautiful group. I know that the shape that is up front is exactly the same one than this one. So how do I copy paste this? A lot of people would say Control C, Control V. Okay, because a lot of softwares are using that. We're going to use a different way to do it, the correct way to do it. I'm going to zoom at the bottom here, because I know I want to move this over here by copying and pasting. So first, I need to select it. You can see because it's a group, I just need to do 1 click. Don't do 2 clicks. Why? Because otherwise you're going to be inside a group. Double click outside, and the group is not selected. 1 click, the group is selected. 2 click, you're inside the group. You don't want to do anything inside, so let's go back out. 1 little single click, it's all blue. Move tool, little plus with the move tool by using Control or Option, and that's going to be magic. I'm going to move my shape, and at the same time, because I got that little plus with the move tool, it's going to copy and paste it. Let me re-explain that. So you select move tool with a plus, and now you're going to use the bottom corner, because that's exactly the corner that you want to move and place. And by doing that now, click once on the grass, make sure nothing is selected. You get the front part. Now, let's do the sides. But because we're using specific measurements, let's zoom on. There we go. Rectangle. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the edge. I'm going to check. It's almost perfect. It's 0.10, 0.10, 0.8. Remember that was 1 meter long, the bottom part, minus 0.10, 0.10, and you're going to have 0.8. Okay? Let's look at it. I don't know if you saw something weird happen. Due to the angle that I had with my view, you can see that the rectangle is not flat on the floor. Something went wrong. So let's do it again. That's a classic. It looks like, but it's not. So let's do it again, but this time on the floor. There we go. So it's very important to zoom in. Sometimes you're too far away and it doesn't really understand what you want to do. Here, 0.10, comma 0.80, enter. And then we're gonna push this. And remember, this time I cannot do 3 enter because otherwise, look, something weird will happen. It's gonna be too tall. Because remember, we just destroyed something before. No worries, because remember now, we don't need a specific measurement. We can use the side corners. Perfect. You know what to do. Triple click on this shape. Right click, make group. And now comes something a little bit difficult because I want to copy and paste this shape over here. And that's when we start having a little problem. Okay, we could hide these two shapes to have more space, but let's avoid getting in trouble. So move tool, control, and then you move the corresponding corner, and everything is perfect. Before doing the roof, I want to place, oh, you can see there's even a little nest inside, so cool. I want to do that little circle here with that little stick that comes out, but you can see that I want that perfectly centered. So, because I want to do something on this front part that is a group, what do I need to do first is go inside the group. So I'm going to double click on that group. You can see everything becomes transparent. I'm inside that group and I can do whatever I want with this group. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to draw a line to show me the perfect center, and then we're going to use a new tool, C, for circle, and I'm going to decide where to place the opening. So that's going to be that big circle we have. I'm going to place the stick wherever I want. I'm going to make a big stick. I'm going to erase all the lines that I don't want. And now, push tool, push the stick out. Try to decide how long do you want that. And then to destroy this, you push it inside until it becomes weird. It becomes weird because look, or you could just say, I want to destroy that 0,10 because we know it. Or you just push it until it becomes that has that little weird effect, and you've done it. Missing the roof, so let's focus on the roof, and then you'll be able to brush it the way you want. The roof, rectangle, we're gonna start from the top rectangle, we're gonna go bottom right. And because everything is a group, it seems that I get plenty of segments here, but no, because whatever I'm building now is separated from these groups, and that's the beauty of playing with groups. Okay, so remember 0.10, enter, and now I can just deform this roof the way you want. Let's not use specific measurements for that, let's just go faster. I won't push this way because normally we place these kind of bird nests directly on the roof, and if you want to 3D print it, you don't want that. So we could copy paste that, but there would be a problem. We would need to rotate it after. I'll teach you this in the future. So let's just make this a group, sorry. Spacebar, triple click, make a group, select the grass, rectangle, and now I'm going to go from the top here to the bottom. Oops, doesn't work. Let's try to find out. Maybe the view. There we go. Rectangle to rectangle. There we go. Push this 0.10, and then let's start fixing everything with the push tool. You can see that the push tool is not working here and here and here. These because it's because they are groups. You can only use your push tool if it's not a group. Like here, we didn't do that. We didn't make this a group yet. Or you will need to be inside the group. Let's see if it looks slightly symmetrical. Oops, doesn't like that idea. Good enough. There we go. We got our burn house. So you've learned how to play with groups and you've learned how to play with measurements. Now you can use B for brushing and just adding whatever you want. Well done.